Welcome to the Firespitting with BS01 podcast, where we absolutely roast Bionicle. I'm Swert, and with me are
Chols,
Dorek,
Kayru,
and Spirit.
Oh wow, we actually have 5 people.
that was the most excited I'll be for this whole thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So today we decided to kind of shake things up a little. We're looking at all of our Kanohi on our walls, our shelves, our drawers, our eBay listings, and we decided,
Our Suva.
hey, yes, our Suva. And we decided, hey, what is the best overall power? And we said, well, if only there was something that existed. Oh wait, there's something that exists.
Yep, that's exactly how that
See,
conversation
you went into this and with a very positive, what's the best power? I'm looking for what's the worst power.
I mean, that there is an F for a reason. I made sure to add the F ranking for that very reason. Of course,
The
if
F
I had my
ranking what?
way. Anyway, so we've decided to create this tier list, which, by the way, everybody's free to go ahead and download. I will have a link provided in the description or on our social media. It is
There's
created
Twitter, go
by
follow
me.
him.
Yeah, that's me, by the way. Don't follow me. I never talk. Feel free to try this out. Let us know what you think. But as far as this particular list goes, this is ours. So we've got 63 masks to go, so we're gonna have to jump right into it. All right. The first one we're gonna start with is adaptation.
The heck does that adapt? The storyline? Could have used it.
Yeah,
It
right.
automatically adapts its user's body to their surroundings.
Wasn't this a Paraka power that they just stole for a mask power?
It really is.
Or did
Which
Paraka
Paraka
steal
was
it?
this?
Thought?
I'm not quite sure.
They're
I'm
all
gonna
the
say
same.
They're all the same.
Uh,
Anyway,
That's
because it's our
features.
first one, let's just start baseline. We'll just start a baseline.
So
sure.
We'll
adaptation,
move these
when you
as we
say
go.
adapts your body to your surroundings, what does that even mean? You gotta explain that more.
I only have one small sentence. I'm not necessarily
This
going
is
through the whole thing.
so.
It's
I
probably
got
like-
the description here. This is a pretty awful mask. Like adapts them to weather, the local environment.
Oh god.
So does a jacket. Like
So is
Alright.
this like heat resistance level of bad?
I
yeah,
guess. Well,
See,
I've just
now-
put it down to D.
Well, yeah. What I was thinking was more like camouflage. Like if you're gonna blend in and look like a rock, you might as well be invisible. So invisibility would be
cool.
better. But
So at that
that's
point,
not
you have
even
2 different
that.
masks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
that's
you have-
not even that good.
All right.
It includes combat situations, local environments, and current weather conditions.
I mean, with the combat
Yeah.
situation, I mean, that would bring it back up to the mid tier.
Nah.
Excuse me, guys. I just want to
no.
be a cloud today. So
This is like when, the Matrona
right.
going out and they're like, "It's raining today. Put your mask of adaptation on."
I'm telling you,
Ah,
we're
it's-
already going.
It's like
way
a
longer
D
than
or
we
an
need
F,
to.
honestly.
All right.
As
I
long
would
as
move
I'm
that
having
down
a
to
good
a
time.
D. Yeah.
All right, we'll
we
stay
can
at
always
D.
change it later.
All right, so next one up is aging. Allows its user to slightly accelerate the life process of one or more targets to make them slower and weaker. This is also considered an immoral mask.
See, in against a human, that's so overpowered. Like,
But against the
Against
Bionicle,
A
it's
Bionicle
nothing.
that lived
It's
100,000
worthless.
years.
It's like,
Yeah, not.
You're
bad.
now a year older. Oh, okay. Happy
What?
main day to me.
So this is also the first. This is actually the second of what we call the other Kanohi, or the expanded multiverse masks. This is also my fault.
Oh, I forgot about the expanded multiverse. Oh, that's coming back.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, how did that
I don't
go?
think we got time. I don't think
we had a
got time.
crisis on Infinite Earths.
all right. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in F because it was not one of the best masks.
Yeah, get it out of here.
Well,
Alright.
like
Yeah,
when the
yeah.
Shadow One gets aged 3,000 years and nothing happens to him.
And then yeah,
And that's
This
the thing,
mask
they-
is
they
worthless.
mention that so often, and yet it has zero impact.
though interesting enough, I mean, Shadow One gets aged that longer, and he's still not somehow older than the ancient.
yeah.
The ancient. Anyway, the Ikaku X-ray vision lets
Very
users
good.
see through objects.
Very
which can
good.
only be used in good and moral situations.
Of
Absolutely.
course, of course. Kopaka never used it in any wrong way, I'm sure.
But it can't be used in Cardanui Mist.
Somehow, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and put
yeah.
that at C. I mean,
Radiation, and you can't X-ray. You can't radiate through your radiation, dog.
That was just
I
lead
argue-
dust.
most of the Toa Kanohi tend to be a little higher on the list anyway because of their iconicness, but this is arguably one of the weakest of all the Toa Mata Kanohi.
Yeah, but it
You
looks
know, like,
cool
it
though.
made sense when we first had it. I mean, A, there was only 6 powers or whatever, but B, like if you're using it for a searching quest, it's a cool idea. But then everything else gets introduced after it, and you just kind of
Yep.
lose it.
Yeah,
Teach-
it's like,
Well,
hey, I could.
I guess it also has like zoom lens. That's pretty useful.
Yeah,
the
that's
zoom
my
lens
favorite
is
bit.
useful. Yeah.
I
All right.
do-
Well,
Yeah, still
B.
C.
yeah, C is fine. We
I
can
do
always
like how it
readjust
looks
these.
like-
I will give us all a chance to readjust these at, say, the halfway mark and then at the end if we want to start looking at these.
We
things.
gotta figure out our standards, see how low they
works.
really are.
I mean, we still have like so many masks to go, so we've got time. All right.
I just like that it looks like half of an eye doctor's thing.
Number
so
one or number
the
two?
the next one we discussed, we had a minor discussion about the Kanohi that the Toa Kaita use, the Aki and the Rua. We officially decided because their powers are slightly different than the masks that they are, we decided to include them. Specifically, the Aki here combines the powers of shielding, speed, and strength, but all three can be used at the same time.
Right, it can use them in conjunction versus just one at a time. So I think that gives
Right.
them an edge.
It gives
like
them a nice
that
edge.
A by default. Like both of the Kaita are probably A by default.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and throw the Rua up there as well because these are basically the same thing. The
but
Rua, of course,
well,
does.
no, that's the thing. They have different powers. The Rua is combined of, I hate to say it, the weaker mask
So you
original
would put
Toa
them at
mask
B?
powers. I would put that in B.
Yeah.
I put them
honestly-
at D. Look,
Yeah,
like okay, but
mean-
C. They're like at the equal level of the Akaku. Whatever the Akaku is, that's
It's
where the
like you
Rua
can
is.
you can levitate, but you can breathe underwater and you can see through things at the same time. Why do you need those three at the
those
same
are all-
time?
exactly.
All right.
Meanwhile, the Aki just turns you into a cannonball. You are strong, fast, and shielded.
But see, I think that's cool. I think that's useful.
All
You
right.
just like ram directly into Makuda's lair, like boom.
All right. So let's go
I
ahead
love
and move on. Arthron, Mask of Sonar, which allows the user to sense the movements and positions of targets' echolocation.
F tier. I don't care. It's so bad.
I'm a shark.
Well, I
just
feel like it's
pings.
not really that much different from the Akaku.
Well-
only you're using sound, so
I-
we
you know,
got to
that's
bring
the
the
case.
Akaku down if we're going to put that in F tier.
All right, then I'll put
Well,
it
but,
in
like,
C.
you can't even sense what it is. You have to have a sense of like what sonar
Oh,
is, and
that's a
also
good
you
point.
have to be actively using it.
Put that in D tier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put it down. Put it down.
All right.
Get out of here.
All right.
Trash.
The other thing I discussed with the staff is we also put all the legendaries and other ones. So here's the Evoki. Now,
Uh-huh.
the Evoki spreads understanding to others, generating peace and trust. And for some reason, we also cite it as having the ability to grant elemental light.
Yeah, it's a cool flashlight, I guess.
I'll
mean-
give that a C tier.
You know,
Who
I
needs
kind of have.
peace anyway?
I'm going to put it in B. I'm going to put it in
Yeah,
B.
it's like you can like turn your enemy to your side with it. That's
Yeah, but like when do we ever see that used? Like, how do we know how effective that really is? It's more
I
like
mean-
it's not like like this guy is gonna kill me. Oh no, suddenly he understands my point of view. It's more like, oh hey, my neighbors aren't getting along. Ah, now you're fine now.
It's the power
Oh,
of the
no,
Care
no,
Bear
no.
stare.
There is another mask that'll do exactly what you're saying coming up here, and I'm going to
Yeah,
mention that
well-
as soon as we get to it. Anyway, we'll move on to, again, we'll discuss changing that at some point if we need to.
No.
So here's the AFSA, which
Great
is
mask.
listed as hunger. It
Yes.
drains the light, energy, or positive emotions from a target at a distance. Once again, an immoral mask.
I'm
the
gonna give
mask
that
of
an S
shadow
bad.
leeches.
Okay, hold on. Everybody talked at the same time. What do we
Yes.
got?
tier.
Wow.
No, S
Well-
S S
Oh,
as in Sam.
Yes.
Wow. You put it up
Well,
that
I know.
high.
Look, I would give it an A, but for the fact that it can drain the light as well, like the the moral light bit.
Yeah, it's like a
used by
permanent
Makuda,
mutation.
and it's like exactly what they need.
Okay.
Perfect utility.
I'd be okay with that. I'm
Ah,
sure we'll
S-
It's like a
discuss
cool
reasons.
bat.
Maybe B. Like I feel like it's not too different from the Mask of Light in that you are, or maybe A.
Let's
'Cause
put it
not-
in A for now.
Not only are you changing the moral alignment of your foe, but you're also mutating them and giving them new magical powers.
Well, technically, you're not mutating them. That was just a. Yeah, Greg forgot what he was doing, basically.
Okay.
Greg forgot.
Yeah, nothing about mutating them. That's a completely different mask. Anyway, so we'll move on to another EM mask, biomechanics. Mentally interface with machinery and control or influence them, depending on the range and complexity of the technology.
Isn't that just what you're supposed to do with machinery? Like they already have interfaces to interact with them with.
So it's like, my smartphone is 2 feet away, and then I can turn it on.
This is literally just a Bluetooth device.
Yeah.
Get out of
mask
here.
with Bluetooth.
I mean, if you're fighting Vaki, very handy. Otherwise,
Yeah, but it only let's count how many actual pure mechanical beings we actually have to deal with. Vaki, Bolrock. End of list.
But also argue
and the Nectan.
This is one of the least truly like I hate to say magical, but like this is one of the only supernatural ones that is not supernatural, because you could learn biomechanics and be able to do this. You couldn't learn most of these quote unquote powers. This one is pretty much like here's a fast pass to being a techie.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, but you can't think of, or you can't, use echolocation to figure out what's ahead of you normally, because you're not built for that.
Yeah,
It automatically makes you forklift certified. That's all it does.
And with that, we'll move on.
F
So
is for forklift.
Yes, forklift's here. All right,
so
what
we're
we
moving
got?
on to the Calyx, the
Good mask.
mask of fate. Perform at the absolute peak of their natural abilities. That's
Why
what
is
the
that
user
called
gets to do.
fate? I know we
That's
talked
why
about this, but
That's why I put fate with quotation marks, because all of the ones that have
Fate.
weird descriptions like that, I put
like
quotation.
it basically just ups your agility, and I think that's cool. Like,
Yeah, I'd give that a
Yeah.
B tier. I mean,
Yeah.
these
Really?
guys, yeah,
Okay. I mean,
they can already do so much. Of like, you just get a little bit better at dodging things, or you can do a couple extra flips. I mean, we're not in the
Well-
Olympics here. Your perfect score does not matter.
I mean, we should also just be calling this the Mask of Batman. Let's be honest.
why is it Batman?
Anyway, we're moving on.
Okay.
So next is the Mask of Charisma, and I have a note here on this one. So this one allows the user to subtly alter the perception of one or more targets, changing how they view the world until they agree with the user's views and serve their cause. Somehow this is not considered immoral.
It was before Me Too. It's fine.
This is what we call mask lighting.
There you go.
Oh boy.
I'm ready to forklift it, to be honest.
Yeah, F tier. Get out of here.
It's way too broken. It's way too stupid. It just doesn't need to exist.
Just get you and your antlers out of here.
My opinion, you could easily sway as many enemies as you want by, I don't know, having a proper dialogue. You don't have to brainwash them.
Does that
Well,
ever
shouldn't-
happen in Bionicle? It's usually just like, I'm dark. It's like, I'm slightly lighter than you are dark. Rah. Or do I
Well,
not
wherever it
remember
goes, it
Bionicle at
should
all?
basically go wherever the Evoke goes. 'cause
Yeah, I
it-
was gonna say, because they have a very similar power.
Well,
Good cop
the
and bad
Evoke,
cop.
the Evoke doesn't actually sway the people. It actually just helps you see their, it generates peace and trust, but it's not necessarily swaying you to their decision randomly.
Yeah, but I mean, the Mask of Charisma is the same. Like, you can make somebody do something they don't want to do. I thought that was
It's
established.
more manipulative, I think, from the description.
I mean, this
The
one is a
Mask
lot
of
more
Charisma is
manipulative.
like the mask of good oration. You can talk at somebody and they're like, oh man, this guy's making some really good points.
Again, it allows them to subtly alter their view. That's the important thing. Whereas the Evoke, it just helps to generate peace and trust. It's not necessary, and spread understanding.
I
It's
mean,
more
I'm
of
really not saying
seeing someone
not
else's
quite the same.
perspective.
We'll move on. Mask of Clairvoyance. This sucker allows the wearer to see into the near future. Not to be confused with a future
Sometimes.
mask that also does that.
Oh,
I
this
gotta give
pretty
that
was,
one
bad.
an F. I mean, being able to see in the near future sounds so useless.
that was Tuyet's mask, right?
No. She had
no,
psychometry.
This is
Oh,
Gaki.
Jackie's, yeah.
Oh, right.
Well,
okay,
it's
yeah.
not only is it just see in the near future, but it's whenever the mask feels like working.
Right.
Worthless.
Ew.
Absolutely worthless.
No.
Yeah,
Mhm.
whenever it feels like it. That's the
Get outta
other
here.
caveat. Yeah. All right. Next is the Mask of Conjuring. This is the one that's really tricky.
I can't
It
even tell
allows
us how
its
it looks
user to
like.
program a limited power into the mask for a brief period of time, but the power has to have a weakness.
Okay,
I
for the
kinda
record-
like that.
I hate it so much.
Yeah, I really dislike that like a lot.
I don't like the built-in weakness concept of it because it's not like super hard to figure
So-
out. Like,
Peeking behind the curtain a little bit there, the reason we added that part is because Greg would not accept the mask unless we did that.
okay, so it's
So its
then.
weakness is that you have to program in a weakness. But I
Right.
mean, that's the thing. Like, not all of the other masks do that. Like,
Look,
if-
Not
if
all the
every
masks
other
have a
mask-
weakness, no.
Yeah, but I
But,
mean,
like-
I get why they're thinking it. Again, I've mentioned this before. The how has that concept built in where you can get attacked from behind, and that's great. But not every single mask has that built-in weakness, so they
Yeah,
never
it's-
really intend that to be a concept from the start.
It's not like the Cow has a weakness of like, you can breathe underwater, but only for like 30 minutes.
Right.
You can breathe underwater, but you can't wear a cooler mask at the same time.
All right. I'm leaving it in D because it at least has some use, but it's...
yeah,
You could be
It's not
clever
great.
with it, but no
Yeah.
one's been clever with it because it's
all right, so next is the Crast. This is the... Oh,
I'll
did
give
I...
that one a B tier.
I hate the name of it.
Oh,
but
okay.
It looks super
Here it
cool.
is.
Really,
Yeah.
I like it. I don't know. I think it's fun.
The
It's
Crast,
the
which is
Kanohi
the mask of...
crust.
Yeah.
All right, well, when you say it like that.
Repulsion. It allows the user to repel other objects for offense or defense. Target
Yes.
cannot touch the user and is flung away with considerable force. Apparently,
I
this
like
is
that.
more immoral than the Mask of Charisma.
And it's just immoral because the Makudi is. Let's not get into that.
It would be so much fun to just use it like if like a hero had it and they just kind of like push people around like as like just to manipulate a battleground. That's fun.
it's the mask of yeeting.
Yeah, why
That's the
did
Mask of
did-
Fusroda.
It is.
You know what? Okay,
Oh,
if it's
yeah.
Fusroda, I'll move it up a little
See?
because of
see,
that.
see at
Oh.
least? Come on.
Yeah,
I
we'll
No,
put it.
C.
yes.
I can make an argument for B.
Do you know how powerful it is to like force
Say
people
B.
off
Well,
a
and you
cliff
can-
with that?
You can use it to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but there's-
true. Ooh.
Fine. We'll leave it there.
If you
Last
can use
chance.
it for fly, it's going to automatically outclass the Caden. So, how about A tier?
I'm not moving it past.
Caden
No.
is controlled
Yeah.
flight. This one is more like propelling yourself off the ground and trying to figure out where you land.
Let's make
Okay.
it a B.
B is fine.
I'll leave it in
I
B.
like B. B.
Mask of Creation. Now, again, we don't
Oh,
have an
no.
image for it in G1. That's why I'm using the BS01 logo. But I made this one gold.
Should have used G2.
I should have used G2, but I don't want that flame war.
G2 never happened.
Anyway, creation. It allows the user to imagine a completed product from raw materials and learn how to construct it. It can also create an object if the user is already aware of how that object can be made. This is the first of our legendary masks on the list.
It's pretty bad. The only thing it's got going for it is that if you destroy it, everyone
Yeah,
loses their ability to create things.
That is the worst.
Yeah.
It's just, so it gets a buff because if it didn't exist, everything would be worse.
Basically.
Yep.
Basically.
I kind
Then
of wish
again,
this was like
But,
a meta
hold on,
narrative.
and point of order, I think the Matoran did slightly okay with 1,000 years of not being able to create anything new, and then they used a magical staff to fix everything anyway. So whatever.
Of course.
Yeah.
I kind of wish this was like canonically a way of explaining like instruction booklets. That would have been funny. But
That would have been fun. Anyway, here is the. I went ahead and threw it in C. It's
okay.
leave it there.
Okay, fine.
All right. Next is the Elda.
Yes.
This mask gives everybody a mustache.
Terrible power, but I love the look of it. Mustache
Right.
Holly is best. Yes.
Anyway, no, it allows the user to see nearby hidden beings such as Kanohi Huna user, and also detects the Adika, and it's always on.
Oh yeah, you can't turn that off.
I'm gonna give it F. No, give F. Like
Yeah,
it is cool to be
probably
able
right.
to detect other users, but the fact that it's always on and can just give you headaches.
It just
nah.
it just gives you migraines and angry
Well, it gives
eyebrows.
you migraines when you're near the Agnika, but otherwise you could still see hidden users.
Why did they give the only girl character the mask that gives you headaches? What's
I'm not going there.
going on with that?
I'm not
'Cause
going. I'm not touching that.
No, that's a different episode.
I think F tier is for things that are more or less worthless. I wouldn't call this worthless. 'Cause
Yeah,
It
but
has a purpose.
Yeah, I'm
tier's
going to go
fine.
ahead and move it up to D.
You can see
Yeah.
people who are hiding, but like the
All right,
headache is pretty
fine,
bad.
B.
You could also just, I don't know, shine a flashlight at them and look for the shadow. That would also have helped. But
Yeah. Well, no.
I don't know
Alright.
if we really like know the exact details of how invisibility works in this.
most of the two masks that do end up setting people invisible still produce a shadow. So
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot
Not
about
truly
that.
invisible.
exactly. The only thing that could be truly invisible, I imagine, would be what was that one Order Imaginary character that was just completely invisible?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I'd have to look him up.
Is that Gerbraz or Jomac? One of the two.
One of
I
the
think it was
J's.
Jormac. Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Mask of Elemental Energy. Believe it or not, this has been canonized because of its inclusion in that short story involving Varian.
Oh yeah.
This was her secondary mask.
It's just a buff to your normal powers, though. Like,
No,
when did people ever run out?
It regenerates your elemental energy instantly. So if you were to say Nova Blast and then put this mask back on, you can immediately Nova Blast again.
Except
like,
nobody
for
ever
reasons.
does that ever.
It's relevant to the Toa Metru, which was a retcon because I didn't want to animate the elemental powers in Legends of Metru Nui. But like the explanation is that they were novice Toa who didn't know how to use their powers.
Oh, right. That
But
was
they figure it
Uh,
out in the course of less than a year. So
I'll put it there.
F tier. No, F tier.
Nah,
Yeah,
D.
get that
I'd
outta
give it
here.
a D.
fine. Yeah, it does have a purpose.
Yeah.
It's just it's to
It's a
eliminate
horrible
another
purpose.
contrivance.
Okay. You're right. It's probably not any better than Yelda in that regard. All right, next. Another EM mask. So this is the last one for a good while.
Okay. Okay.
By that I
No,
mean
no,
two more steps.
This one's a different one. This one was one that they canonized through a poll because it's for Pooks.
Right, you're right. Never mind. Mask of Emulation allows the user to replicate any one power of another sapient being for a short time.
I like that.
So I mean, this is basically what the Mask of Conjuring wishes it could be.
Yeah.
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 You can also play NES games conveniently.
So
Right.
that's more reason to put it up a little higher because you could just copy a Makuta. End of
Well,
story.
and I like that
Or
the
a
one time
power
it gets
from-
used in the story, like you see Pooks trying to use it, and then he just gets smacked away. So
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it's no. Put it down to like
It comes
C.
from the like you have to have some
C.
level of interaction, I guess, with the creature or person you're trying to emulate. So it's kind of got a weakness of you have to be able to copy it, but otherwise, I like the idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I like that, it kind of also brings into play like his past as a Rahaga, where, he spends a lot of time being patient and waiting for that moment. So like it makes sense for that.
Makes sense for him, but it also exists in a world where everyone is resistant to
This
their
is
own
true,
powers.
And that's what this list is for.
Absolutely. All right, so moving on. The Faxon. Great version allows its user to mimic the powers of Rahi that share their general environment. For example, Land Rahi.
This mask
Isn't
is so
that-
broken. It's A tier.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
really.
like this. I love this mask.
Yeah. It's a good
I
mask.
hope
Go ahead.
From a writing perspective, if you like, it's the get out of jail free card of like,
really is.
don't worry, it lets you use this magic power for this creature. You've never seen the creature, but trust me, it's always existed.
It's out there somewhere.
Oh no,
Didn't you
Holly
read
got
the wiki?
poisoned. Holly is poisoned. So how do we fit? Oh, never mind. She already cured herself with her mask.
She's already resistant to poison. Great. It's great. It's overpowered, but it's great.
It really is.
I just like the variety. Like, you can copy a really cool, super overpowered power, or you could copy a super useless power. I just like that there's, a lot of variety to it.
Absolutely. All right. So moving on, the Felnas. This is a mask that allows the user to cause any one natural active power of another to go completely out of control. And yes, it is immoral.
I guess B.
Yeah,
It's
B
not
sounds
immoral.
about right.
I mean, we're talking. It's an amazing power. It's good when you're using it against an enemy, but I mean, that's about all it's good for. But I'm not saying it's bad.
But they're all about using against enemies most of the time, or just
That's the thing,
navigating your terrain.
It's a very combat-oriented mask. Not all of these things are necessarily combat-oriented.
That's
but then
true.
also
Right.
those ones are going
It's more
lower on
about-
the tier list. So
You can't really do anything else with disorienting somebody unless you're antagonizing them. So I guess that makes sense. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it is reliable enough to like send your one trump card haywire, then yeah,
Right.
that's pretty good.
It is worth noting it said a natural active power, so that means not Kanohi. Does not disrupt Kanohi.
It's,
Or,
it's
or
interesting
is a
in the
Kanohi
fact
considered natural?
that it's powerful, but it's also quite chaotic. Like, if I want to be a fire wielder with it, so okay, I make their fire powers go out of control. Cool. That might mean he burns himself to a crisp, or it might mean he burns me to a crisp.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It's not
risky.
that it shuts it off, it's that it goes out of control. You're right.
Yeah,
But that's
know
another
your
reason to put it
environment.
up so high is because there's a lot of gamble to it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
pretty good.
Next is the Mask of Fusion. Oh, this is definitely an EM mask. Allows its user to forcibly merge themselves with one or more beings into a single larger being.
So you can just make other people kaita themselves.
I was about to say, or this is basically just a fusion dance, but in a mask.
Is there a limit on that? Like, can you just like take a whole population of Matoran and merge them together
Ooh.
and create like
Well-
a Mega Matoran?
No, he said it says just with one other being, right? Read it again.
One or
One or
more
more.
beings into a
One or
single
more.
larger being.
One or more. You just
So this is your
take a whole
Matoran
Koro
Nui.
out.
This is your Matoran Nui.
This is great. This is
You make a
overpowered.
bunch of Matoran Nui and then you fuse them all together into yourself, and now you can take on Makuta.
S
Here I
tier.
am, just like Katamari Damacying the entire
Yeah,
village.
that's more what I'm thinking.
I'm putting it up here just for that reason alone.
So in the description here, it says strong minds can resist the merging.
Oh,
So
so you can't.
Ooh.
But that's all the more reason to pick up Matoran.
Or Rahi, just throw it at like a hive of Nui Jaga and just like have like a giant ball of scorpion.
Well, and I guess
yes.
how are we defining fusion? Like, what happens? Is it like, a Kaida or a Nui, or is it more like the Paraka fusion where you just have this weird
I
pop-
imagine it's more the Paraka fusion in that regard, if that makes sense.
Oh, right, they had that. Oh,
they had
It's
that.
like the Pura fusion, which I guess this is similar to.
Very similar mask, yeah. All right.
So they just kind of
I'm
become
leaving it at A. Anybody have any opinions about that?
No, it's pretty OP if you know how to use it.
Yeah.
I want to set it on
All
some
right.
cane raw.
Next, we have the Garai, Mask of
I love
Gravity.
this one.
Yeah. Allows
I mean,
the
it's just
user to increase or decrease a target's gravitational pull.
Whee!
Yeah, that's fun, and it looks great too.
Oh, no.
Manta ray.
I think
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
Yeah,
B is
B
okay.
tier.
I
It's
can
like
do a B tier.
call level elemental control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is an element too. You basically get a secondary element out of that thing. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you do. It's very rudimentary in terms of control of gravity. Like a toe of gravity can do a lot more than that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like your
But-
toe of gravity are pretty OP as it is. So
Yeah, but
Right.
the whole push and pull ain't that either. You can just gravity gun things at people.
All right. We'll
I mean, it
then
was
move
such
on
a
to
strange choice for underwater. Like, I understand that gravity still works, but like,
You have a lot
Yeah.
more to push
how
against.
do you account for buoyancy? How do you account for? I don't know.
we'll go over that later. All right. Next is the Mask of Growth. Allows the user to grow larger up to a maximum height of 60 feet.
I read that as 6 feet at first. I was like, that's disappointing.
Right.
But I can use that.
The Mask of Thick.
Honestly, I would put it C. It's useful, but I wouldn't put it at the same level as these.
Well, like
I
I,
mean,
guess it
seeing-
makes you
sorry.
stronger too. Like it's like the mask of Ant-Man when he gets really big.
Yeah.
Also, considering that most creatures or beings in the Matoran universe are much bigger than Matoran and Toa, like it might not hurt to pick on someone your own size with that thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like it makes you bigger and stronger, but it makes you a bigger target as well, which is a huge weakness when you've got things like Mask of Fusion, Rotuka of turn you into dust. Like that's a huge liability.
It really is.
Anything that targets you, yeah.
Plus, it's a little hard to stay hidden when you're 60 feet tall.
Yeah, not worth it.
It's
Okay.
mostly meant for like fighting things that are a lot bigger, and at the end of the day, there aren't actually things that are that much bigger.
Right.
Yeah, no one could
very-
afford a set that big.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so now here comes one I'm guaranteeing is going to be a hot button. The how.
Great mask.
Allows the user to protect themselves from any physical attack that they are aware of by generating a force field.
I'll give it a C.
It's pretty standard. I love the look of it. I've seen it used a lot in a lot of media because it's been around since like the start. But like, it always seems cool to me just to have like a secondary power that is a good secondary power, a defense, and it's a reasonable one. It's basically like wielding a shield, but with your brain. I'm like, I like it. It's good.
Yeah, it's like you don't really have to think too hard about what it does. You don't have to use its power in any complicated way. It's just boom, shield.
Very simple. It's
I
got
like
a built-in weakness. It's good.
Yeah,
However, there's no way it's on the same level as the Ikaku. That thing is a piece of garbage.
Yeah,
so
B tier.
No, but it has to be below the Crast.
Yeah.
The Crast is just a better version than the How.
So you're
I'd
thinking of
make it
moving.
B.
Yes.
Yeah, move it down.
We ruined our perfect bell curve. Oh, now we have a more interesting.
We'll just do this for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the Rua's gonna have to move down too because no,
Well, the
other
Rua
ones
is
are
slightly
holding it up.
better.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's got
holding
extra
the rest
stuff in
up.
it.
That's true. All right, next one. We have the Huna. This is the
Huna.
first of the two types. Funny. Allows the user to turn completely invisible, although their shadow will still remain.
Well, I mean, Vakama used that mask to single-handedly take down Makuta.
Did he take him down, or he more just confuse him to death?
Mm,
And that's because it was nighttime. In the daytime, he would have been screwed.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. He did not cast a shadow that time. I think it's useful. Yeah, the shadow thing is a little bit of silly weakness.
I mean, what are we thinking? I'm between B and
C.
C. I'm
It's
not
C.
putting it any higher.
C is not unreasonable.
Yeah,
It's a very standard power to turn. Into
It's definitely on the same level as a growth and emulation, and
Yeah.
yeah. All
It's
right.
a basic alteration of one's body.
Next up, we have the Aiden or
Great mask.
Spirit.
What?
You.
Me?
This is the mask of
Yes.
you. Actually,
been
no. This
identified.
allows the user to temporarily release their spirit from their body.
To what accomplishment?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Not
it's-
there.
Yeah, no.
Literally,
Move
what
now,
can
way
you
down.
do once your spirit is removed from your body? Like
You
play
can
dead?
Well,
Scout
it
ahead.
allows you to scout ahead, and it was confirmed that two
That
users
way-
using the Aiden
Wait.
would actually be able to switch bodies.
Yeah,
just
but
it's
this is
basically
D&D. Like nobody has ever scouted ahead, as far as I know.
No, Matoro did do a lot of scouting ahead when he was
It's
using that
some
mask.
scouting, but then also, like in the canceled book, Makuta takes over his body.
Right. I'm
So-
putting
in
it in
ways
C.
it's similar to
No,
the.
D at least.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
it's
it's-
almost
it's
like the
similar
Ikaku and use is like you can see things ahead of you.
Exactly. But it's got the
Also-
downside of people can steal your body. So it's
Yeah.
worse
Yeah.
than the
Well,
Ikaku.
it's like, like kill your body and then your spirit's floating around. I don't know.
Now
Yeah,
you're
I
just a
think this is
spooky
F
ghost.
tier.
Yeah.
This is garbage.
All right. Moving on, we have the Nika.
Yeah.
Garbage
S
mask.
tier.
Garbage.
So
Okay.
its powers are too much to list. The summary I have listed here is a revised great spirit using a bearer's energy and curses anybody else who touches it.
I mean, actually, there are a lot of drawbacks to the Igniga, but it's just so powerful.
It has
And it's also probably one of the most gorgeous designs.
it has the power to move the plot forward.
Yeah.
Yay!
It creates
mask
its
of
own
MacGuffin.
body twice.
So
All
it's
right.
more
Right
it's more
there.
mask
That's
than
good.
person. Yeah.
So I know
like
you
it.
can't. I know you can't read that, but that's probably why this mask is so fun. It's the mask of incomprehension. This is another
Yeah.
EM mask.
I don't like that it's working on us right now.
It allowed the user to scramble both spoken and written languages, but the mask can be countered by a row and also cannot affect hand signals. And yes, it's immoral.
I would love if it could affect hand signals and it use it on someone and they're just like their hands are just completely out of control.
They just start clapping.
Yay!
Please clap.
Please clap.
Jazz hands.
Love it.
That would make it better, but it doesn't have that, so F.
All right. Mask of intangibility. Allows the user's body to become intangible so they can pass through objects and or avoid attacks. User can also control how intangible they become. This is 2 Yet's mask, if I recall.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's pretty dang powerful.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm thinking
no, I would move that to at least B, if not A.
because you
Yeah,
can't.
we'll do A.
It's like a how, only there's no drawbacks.
Yeah.
You
Can
can't
you still
do
hit stuff with it on?
No,
Well, I guess
no,
you
you're
make
completely.
yourself tangible
Well,
again.
I mean, if you can walk through things, it also like kind of then outclasses the Akako and the Iden as well. So
Yeah. You
That's
could
true.
also probably Nightcrawler somewhat with it, where you just kind of like phase inside of them and then just
Yeah.
reappear.
Oh, yeah.
no- I mean,
yeah.
nobody's done that, but it would be cool.
All right. Next up, we have the Jutlin, the mask of corruption. Allows the user to break down inorganic objects within their range of vision by causing them to decompose and rust.
It's just,
Does
that
it's just a rock
include-
shape.
Like aging.
Armor, like, can you like?
Yeah.
Oh,
Inorganic objects. Inorganic.
what is
Yeah.
the rate of decay? I guess.
I don't have that answer in front of me.
Isn't this just disintegration?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. The 3 Fantaka Makuta, their mass powers were all based on Rakshi powers originally.
I do like
That's
that
not surprising.
continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. You can't use it directly on someone, but that would make it completely broken. So I like that there's
can
a
you use
limit
it on
to
their body?
They're organic.
Just in the armor.
Things are mostly metal. I don't see why not.
Yeah, or like use it on their mask. All of
So
a sudden you have no
protodermis
mask?
in this case is inorganic.
When did we see it used?
I don't know if we ever did, or if we did, it would probably have been in one of the books.
It probably was. My memory
Anyway.
of that is fading. It's been too
Telling
long.
you.
Let's look it up in the greatest wiki available for Bionicle information.
Biosector01.com. There's your plug.
It does not list uses.
Oh, so I guess we don't see.
Okay, we never saw it used. They must have tried to use it, but I guess it just never
And
got
that's the
used.
thing. I guess that's why I keep wanting to move it down to B tier. It's like
Knock it down a peg if we
powerful.
haven't seen examples.
We never
All
see it used, so maybe it's not actually as great as it sounds.
Right.
Well, if that's the rule, then you can't do any of the expanded multiverse masks in A tier because we never see them used.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, we
you know,
haven't.
they
Mm,
specifically thought about what those powers would do, et cetera, et cetera.
I think we came up with enough of a good part on that one.
yeah.
Eh,
You know what?
I'm okay
That being the
either way.
case, I'll just move the Jutlin back up. Why not?
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
Besides, who wouldn't say that we would have kept Mask of Fusion in the S tier and we did knock it down a peg?
I mean, we could. It's not too late.
Yeah. All right, next up we have the Kaden. Allows its user to soar through the sky under their own power.
What's the limit on under their own power? Like
C tier.
they're kind of flying by the seat of their
I mean,
mask.
don't get me wrong. Flight is like a super cool power, but also like, yeah, it just makes you a target.
That's fair.
Not when you
Yeah.
have a shoulder-mounted Zamor launcher.
It's true. That was pretty cool.
Well,
How
it
does
doesn't
Zamor's not fall
necessarily
out?
it doesn't make you any more of a target than you already are.
This is also true.
If anything, you can dodge things better because you've got like the extra dimensions.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think-
you've
I
got
think
another
B-
direction that you could dodge with.
Very true. All
But
right,
it's gotta
so
it's got to be a step down from Crast because like Crast,
well, the Crass is right there, so C is okay.
I mean, Crast using flight is more like a byproduct of what it can do, which is what I think makes it super cool. But
Right.
Yeah, no,
that makes
all
it
right.
fun. Versatile. This is just you can fly.
I'm not going to go any further just yet. We are at the halfway point because we have exactly 32 masks left to go. That means
And
there are
pause.
31 up here. So- What do we want to move around, if any?
I think Avsa needs to move down.
The outside?
Yeah.
moral light, it can make anybody evil really, really quick.
Right, but it's not too different from the Mask of Light. Only
No, the
Evil.
Mask of Light wishes it could do what the Avsa does. Nah.
Okay.
okay, then move the Mask of Light down
Okay.
to C tier.
Fine. Also, because I'm a stickler for alphabetical order, I'm putting the Ruin back over here.
That's fine.
But we can
Let's
always
keep
look
it
at
track.
reorganizing at some point tier order. That way we can do that.
Yeah, this
We'll
is
do that
looking
at
better.
the end.
This is looking a lot better.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm okay with this.
Nice
I'm okay with
curve,
this.
No curve.
Adaptation being D, I guess
Ah,
it
maybe
doesn't.
it's F.
Yeah, I'm willing to move that down to F.
Yeah, get that down. Get it out. Get it out.
Yeah. And I'm okay with this so far.
Yeah.
This list is going to evolve in the next 32 masks. It's going to evolve more.
It's gonna get pretty whack.
It's going to be
What
really funny when we
happens
run out of
if
room.
everything becomes C tier now? Do we have enough room to show all of that?
We'll move it around. We'll move
Okay.
stuff
We'll
around.
have to redefine
Anyway.
C tier if that gets too big.
We're good. Yeah, we'll make some room around here. We'll just start pushing things up and down as needed. All right. We have next up the Kakama, Mask of Speed.
Ooh.
Allows the user to move and run at incredible speeds on all surfaces, far faster than the eye can follow.
I mean, yeah, I
Being
gotta give
that
it
fast is good.
A.
That is probably the best, if nothing else, it's the best looking Toa Mata mask.
Oh,
Oh,
we're
really
doing
is.
points from looking. Oh, we're gonna have a different list.
No, I'm just throwing that out there. No, we're going strictly power right now. But if
Yeah,
I were to also, I mean, if we're going based on looks,
Yeah.
but
I mean, we could keep it up there, but
No.
yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't put it.
Kohat-
I wouldn't put it S tier.
Kohatu's used it so well, like
Yeah,
in like various stories. It's like honestly, he probably used that more than his like stone powers most of the time. It's just
Truth.
Very
running
true.
around people and kicking them with his extra beat boots and all that.
yeah. As often as he uses the stone versus the speed, you might as well call him a Toa Speed, and he happens to have a mask of stone.
Not only that, but he turned into a very special combat style for him with the Koli balls and everything, because he could use his stone in conjuncture with it. It just
He
works
could be a
so
one-man
well.
Koli team.
Yeah.
Well, plus like the Nuva version. Not that we're
Yeah, and the
talking
new
about the Nuva
version is like where you can phase through objects and everything.
Yeah.
Boom.
Very
Yeah.
Forget it.
Honestly, the Nuva is a much more powerful one, though very much a downgrade in appearance.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. Get that out of here.
Yeah, everybody might have noted I don't have Nuva on here for a reason. Because yes, the Nuva powers might be a little more powerful, but I don't want to look at them right now.
Nuva powers are just the regular powers with airplay turned on.
Yes.
All right, moving on. We have the Cow, Mask of Water Breathing. I know you can't see water breathing, but it's there.
F tier.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Does it have to be? I mean, I feel like it's a good
No,
utility.
there's still use. There's still use. I'm going to put it in D.
It shouldn't have been a mask. That's my
Like
thing.
if you're a
Yeah.
Toa,
All right, fine.
every Toa could like conceivably make a little bubble of air for themselves. If you're a
Yeah,
Toa of stone, make like a little stone bubble around your head. If you're a Toa of water, just absorb the water in the immediate area. You do not need to breathe water. That is stupid.
Very true.
Yeah,
all right.
It's just wait. Did they even breathe? Have we confirmed this?
Yes.
They breathe.
I'm sorry.
Otherwise,
I'm so bad.
otherwise, Mari Nui would not have even existed.
That's true.
All right, next we have the Kirill, the Mask of Regeneration. It allows the user to repair damage to inorganic objects that they see. So this is the opposite of the Mask of Corruption. This one can regenerate them. And the Great Form can regenerate Protosteel, I learned.
Huh.
So I mean, they basically have to go on the same tier, right?
Yeah, they really do. They really do.
Is it really as good?
Well,
I
but I
don't
mean,
think
yeah, I don't know. I mean, is the question, would if a great Jutlin and a great Kirill activating on the same thing at the same time, would anything happen to it?
Well, it's like if you have to fight someone, but your only power is healing. Like that's. I guess all masks aren't necessarily offensive.
Yeah.
Very true.
Granted, I understand that this would make it faster and easier, but is this another power that you could do if you like trained and knew what you were doing?
Maybe not, but I mean, for a toe of iron, maybe.
I guess it doesn't allow you to fight better; it just allows you to fight longer.
Yeah.
Right. And
Honestly,
it
I
also
think
depends
I've
on if you
seen-
target yourself.
I think I've seen enough examples in other media of the power to regenerate something being used really cleverly. I'm kind of thinking of like Diamond is Unbreakable and stuff like that, where it's just like, yeah, just punch a wall out and regenerate it. Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, well, and I like the fact that the great version can regenerate Protosteel. So that's one of the strongest substances in the universe.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty
with
good,
that,
yeah.
it sounds like more of a utility mask. So I think A tier is a little too high.
Utility masks are good though.
I'll move it down one then.
Yeah,
Because
because
corruption is definitely a mask you use for offense. The
you
Kirill
can
is what
kill
you
someone
use
with a mask
after
of
you.
corruption.
The
Kirill's not
Kirill
using the
you
back life.
right. All right. Next we have the Komal, allows its user to see into the mind of another and can control them, but I also want to clarify that you cannot go against their own personal morals.
Is that
Yeah.
actually a rule they set on that?
Yes?
So you can't just like make Makuta like do one good thing for a day?
Right.
Even though, like in Legends of Metro New, we see plenty of people doing things that they don't want to be doing right now.
Yeah, like doesn't he make
Well-
Nadiki and Kreka kill themselves?
No, he
Isn't that
made
what they wanted to do?
he made Kreka go after Nadiki. Just get Nadiki.
Get Nadiki.
Nadiki.
So he wanted to get him the whole time. Oh, such a
Aw.
love story.
I ship it.
Oh, see, I was thinking much more uncharitably that Kreka was just too stupid to know what was going on.
Right. I would say
What is that?
C tier. It's a useful mask, but it doesn't get nearly used as much as,
Why
say,
not? Put that up to B at least.
Oh yeah.
B,
Like B?
the ability to read minds is way more powerful than it was ever given. Like
Well,
that
that's
could go
not-
a long way.
no, that's not the power to read minds, it's the power to control the mind. There is a difference.
Oh, my bad.
We'll get there.
Oh yeah.
All right,
We'll
next.
get there.
This is the other one. This is the Krakan.
And
Control over anger, fear, and elemental shadow. It also allows the user to see the moral darkness in others, and it is also made of proto-steel.
What?
I mean, it's just more shadow powers.
What
Yeah,
shadow
well-
powers are the best.
Yeah, but
Fine.
I think
I'll put it-
C.
I'll put it in
actually,
C.
shadow is pretty cool in Bionicle. They do a lot with it.
I'm not putting it any higher than the Evoki. Either I get to move the Evoki up, or you get to live with the Krakan being down.
This
No,
is a- this is
I
a
agree.
bargaining
They're
chip.
very much on the same level.
This is
Yeah,
good.
I would keep them. I would keep them on par, and that was always kind of the point. And I noticed that the Mask of Light and Shadow is not on here. Thank you.
You're welcome. I debated that one last night.
No, it doesn't count.
No. All right, next we have the Kualzi. The mask of quick travel, or allowing the user to instantly move to any place in their field of vision.
Teleportation.
I do like this one. I think it's a lot of
No,
fun.
no, it's gonna be like C, D.
No.
It does
Okay.
have some
Really?
problems, definitely. Like you
Like
can't
within
like.
your field of vision. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a cool power, but
Just
you
do a
know,
bunch of
there's
leaps.
Yeah, whereas I guess the Olmec,
Or-
which we're getting to the Olmec eventually, that's going to allow you to go anywhere. So,
Or you do what they did with the Matatu and you just stick a scope on it, and now you can see really far away.
Okay,
I'm
Why
sure
didn't this have a scope?
what if you had the ability to use your Kaku to see through a wall and then you quickly switch to Kualzi and now you know exactly where you're going?
That seems a little cheaty.
It's
Well,
all cheating.
Either way, we'll move on.
Okay, but it
Here's-
has to. Okay, but would you rather have super speed or teleportation?
Hmm.
I like super speed more personally.
Yeah, I would like super
yeah,
speed more.
I'd rather have the super speed because then the newer version I could just go through the wall anyway.
Teleportation only works like if you're in a confined space, then what? Like
Yeah,
if you're
Alright,
in like
so-
a Bionicle Adventures 5
Well,
or whatever.
I want to move
Yeah.
on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Next up, we have the Mahiki. Allows the user to create optical illusions and, in the Great Form, to shapeshift into another form.
All right, the shape shifting. Man, that was whack. I like this one. It was used cool. I feel like
It was
it's not.
used to its
That's
good
niche
effect.
uses. But there's lots of masks that can see past it.
True.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure the Elder could see through it, but you're not going to be stupid enough to use this mask against somebody wearing an Elda since they could see it. You know they're going to be using it all the time anyway.
I think Mata would be stupid enough to do
And again,
that.
so much of the way we classify these things is like combat orientation, and really you can't use the illusion for much.
Not really.
Hello, did you even play the Matanui online
did
game?
The online game where he uses it against an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
And they also used it against Kreka. What's this?
So it doesn't seem to work much on anyone who's slightly intelligent.
Yeah,
Right.
B is too high.
Yeah, I would
Alright.
go C at
I
least.
give it a
All right. Next, we have the Matatu with a little attachment. This thing.
Wait, sorry. I want to go back to the Mahiki.
Yeah.
So we're saying that that shapeshifting is C tier? Because
But
I've always
not
figured
really
that would be
It's-
in some ways the most OP power because you can shapeshift into something so tiny that nobody can see you. You can shapeshift into something like some enormous ash bear and just bash people. You can shapeshift into something that's super fast.
That's
Well,
true.
so how much of it is actually shapeshifting? Like I know they've called it that, but I mean it's not like you're
Well-
not changing your mass.
As
Was it
far as we know,
illusionary?
the dictionary definition was definitely that it could shapeshift. The encyclopedia said shapeshifting. So they are actually changing. It's basically the same power as a Makuta's power to change their size.
Which
No,
one
but
is
that-
actually pretty OP?
There's the Rakshi power to shapeshift, where you're not changing your mass at all. You're basically just you can make yourself appear larger or smaller, but you're not actually changing anything. Or there's their shadow hand power where they absorb mass in order to be able to fuel their shapeshifting power.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
plus
could
you
you
can
actually-
use it for other things too. Like Makuta basically takes over Metro Nui for 18 months by shapeshifting into Duma. So even if it's not a combat use, you could still really mess with things by looking like someone you're not.
Yeah, but you
That's
can't use it
true.
all the time because you can't use a Kanohi power 24/7 except for the Elder, which sucks.
Well, neither did Duma. He was like, went back and took his mask off, and oh look, it was Makuta the whole time. Like,
I'm going to leave it at B for now. We'll move
Yeah,
on.
B
Okay.
is good.
he's fine.
All right, next is the Matatu. Allows the user to move targets within their range of view by utilizing the power of thought and lets them project psionic force.
I feel like this one's been pretty cool.
Give it a B
But-
tier. I think telekinesis is pretty handy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
was pretty fun.
I'm finding it hilarious that we've had more in the B tier for the Metro than the Mata ever had in any
They
of the
have
other
good
ones.
masks.
That's true. Like,
It's you keep it simple, right? Like the more complicated you get with your powers, the more you have to either include a downgrade or you just can't find any specific use for it. But
Or you just start programming your powers. Gosh darn.
all right,
Or-
we'll move
So
on.
could someone hang on? So for the Matatu, could someone use like the Matatu to force choke someone? Like, are we just looking at the whole Jedi range of powers?
Ooh.
I would
Ooh.
think-
I think that's up to some writers, sure.
I don't
Probably
see
do
why
that.
not.
I think that'd
Also,
be fun.
I'm almost afraid of the B tier getting too far ahead as well. So we're
Move
gonna
it to A. Move it to A.
Sure.
all right. Miru, Mask of Levitation, aka the kid brother of the Kaden.
Big floaty.
Allows the user to float and glide on the air to slow their fall. To simulate flight while using this mask, the user has to rely on wind currents to push them while they stay afloat.
D.
D.
Yeah. Like it's been used a lot.
I'm gonna get so much hate mail from LJ now, but
Oh, what? I think that's just love letters for you.
But I think with
Yeah.
that, like if you had to pick between teleportation and floating, you got to move teleportation up one tier.
That's fine.
Floating?
I would
That's all
move
it
floating
does.
down personally, but you can also move teleportation up one.
I'm
Take
fine
your
with
pick. You
moving
gotta be one
floating
of those.
down.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Those
So
are
what are we-
very
what are we
different
doing?
applications.
so what are we
Mirror
doing?
down. Yep.
Okay.
And then
No, you can. Well, I don't mind, but
whatever, we'll leave it like this for now.
That's
All right. Next is the Motrek. Allows the user to transport one or more past versions of themselves to the present. This is the time
This
duplication.
is the
mask.
Xehanort mask.
stupid. Why couldn't you just create duplicates of yourself? Why do they have to be from like alternate times?
That
Well,
just
no.
adds so much extra baggage. Like you have to explain what's going on every
And
single
what happens
time.
if one of them gets killed?
Yeah,
They
then you
created
get
an
like
timeline.
I
which
mean,
was
that's
explained.
more reason to move it up here because that would be the risk. But no,
this adds so many
Starbucks.
contrivances that we don't need. Just no, bad. Just make
I
duplicates.
mean,
it's
in terms
fine.
of a power, move it to like C at least.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Is like how good is this power?
it's
No,
good
trash.
power, but it's useless. I'm sorry, forklift it.
But I think the problem it runs into is that it gets what's it called? Like the trope, like the ninja problem of like as soon as there are 100 ninjas are worthless. But if there's one ninja, he's super powerful.
Yeah. I'm going to move to D. We'll compromise.
It's
guess-
fine. It could be used well, but if you want to make like multiples of yourself, pulling them from the past and having to tell them why you're uprooting their life is just kind of a pain in the butt.
Right. All right. Mask of Mutation. This allows the user to mutate another living being from a distance. User can also get powers with the mutations, but it cannot use the mutation on themselves, and the mutation caused by the mask is permanent unless it is undone by the mask user.
This is like
That sounds
S tier
broken.
stuff.
Give it like
Yeah.
how
It's
how
basically the Mask of Life with some restrictions.
Without curses.
Yeah.
Yeah, S tier. That is super
I'm okay
broken.
with that. I'm okay with that.
fun. It's just like
Also,
how
technically-
instantaneous is it? 'Cause, like, you know, when Rudaka fires her Rotuka, like bam, happens in a
Oh,
second.
again, it's within from a distance. You could do it from a distance, so you could be doing this probably from, I don't know, 50 bio away, as long
Like,
as you
can
can
you
see
even
them.
dodge this?
Right. That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, what is
You
the
know,
distance?
It doesn't say in my notes. You'd have to look that up and see if there is.
Why did they all fight
distance.
over the Crocon? You could have all gotten this and then just messed everyone up.
Yeah, I think they were too busy thinking Miserix was dead, since he was.
Why didn't they take his gosh darn mask then?
You know, that's a good question.
Makuta
And
is
I'm sure
stupid.
that
They're
there's
all
a good
sitting
answer
there
for that
like
somewhere in a serial that we're not looking up.
they're all just like a bunch of edgelords. Like they're all just sitting in their basement being like, "I'm the darkest Makuta." Like, no, I'm the darkest Makuta. I've
Yes.
got so much darkness inside of me.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and say this right now.
No. Sucks.
Well, you got to defend yourself,
Bill,
sir.
No. Move that to like D.
Let me read it first, and then we'll discuss moving it. This is the Ola side. This allowed the user to project a mental illusion of an alternative timeline or a possible future into one or more beings' minds. This is literally the mask of alternative futures. This is the mask of what if.
Right. So
but
that
it's just a vision. That's it.
yeah, I can imagine what if on my own. I don't need a mask for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like for like using it against other people, which is just awfully manipulative.
I mean, it was manipulative on Karzani, that's for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, like I guess it like temporarily traps your opponent, and then they can't do anything because they're in a world of illusion.
That's true.
As you recall, he did end up using it offensively on Lesovic, who was able to see an alternative timeline where his team had survived.
Now, is this one of the limitations of the mask? Is that while you're projecting the alternate future, that you yourself are incapacitated?
As far as I know, he wasn't incapacitated when he used the
he was-
mask.
He was already incapacitated at the time, so I don't
Right,
know if
but-
that's necessarily
Well, what I'm
problematic.
wondering is, could you put someone in this illusion and then
then
just go and kill them?
I mean,
I mean,
if
you really
you
could.
teamed up with another person, yes, you could. But I don't know if you could do it on your own. Anyway,
Require
I'm leaving
damage
it at C.
concentration. See, I feel like it could go higher. I'm not ready to call it S tier broken, although it's getting close.
Leave it C.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, to unlock its full potential, you need a second person.
This one I'm going to
Yeah,
go ahead and move
crazy.
here.
S
No,
tier.
S tier, absolutely.
You think
Have
so?
you not watched Rick and Morty? The ability to go to parallel universes, any parallel universe that you control. So broken.
Are you asking the guy who unironically built Lego models of Rick and Morty if he's seen Rick and Morty?
Do you know how much Sehestra
You're
sauce
talking
he
to the
has?
audience, like, but yeah, no, it's stupidly overpowered.
Yeah,
And they just
Olmec's
give
pretty great.
Brutaka like it's nothing. Like here, wear
There
this. and
is-
go
Here's the
hang
thing.
out.
Here's the thing. It did get damaged, and Makuta did break it, so eventually it's just gone.
Sure,
but I
but-
guess, yeah, it is S tier in that it allows you to go anywhere into any dimension.
You
Yeah,
can
but
break
breaking
any
it is even
power
worse.
go a little haywire.
Anyway, I don't think I actually read out its description for everybody. So it allowed the user to transport him or herself or other targets to different locations or dimensions via dimensional portals.
Yeah, super broken. Love it.
Yep.
All right, we'll leave it at S. I honestly, I think that's where I was going to put it in the first place, but...
Yeah.
All right, next we have the Picari. Mask of Strength.
I want to write it off as being like lame, like, oh, Anu is already strong. But you know, it is useful to be like physically stronger with the help of a mask.
All I would
Right.
say is that this has to be ranked higher than the one that allows you to be at your peak normal performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm putting it at
And-
A tier.
But in that case, you have to move
It's-
the Aki up.
Yeah.
The what? The Aki? No, the Aki is already at A.
Right. But
I think there's allowed to be some variance in the tiers. It's not like, the Aki exactly equals the Picari or whatever.
But
Yeah,
to have
they're just in the
strength
same
and
category.
speed at the same time and shielding.
True.
In that case, I might as well move Yaki
Yeah.
up to S.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cannonball Mask. Sure.
No, Cannonball Mask.
All right.
So Picari, could you also use it like the crest and like just make your legs super strong and jump really far?
I mean,
Why not?
That's what
You
Superman
should've.
does originally.
It would have been great. Yeah.
right.
Leap tall buildings in a single bound. Why not?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Picari, yeah.
All right. Next, we have the Bikui. This is the mask that allows you to
Nice.
shrink themselves and their tools down to a minimum of 6 inches.
So
All
it's
right,
mask-
so
the
it makes yourself
mask of
small.
Ant-Man, effectively.
This is basically the Ant-Man mask, yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Honestly, I'm going to have to put it at the same level as the Mask of Growth for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
So,
about right.
why they can't be the same mask is beyond me.
Well, why does Ant-Man have to?
Well,
have
so I
different
mean,
powers?
the Pukui specifically says that you retain your strength, right? Doesn't the Mask of Growth, does it say the opposite, where you still only retain the same strength as a giant person or a normal sized person?
Yeah, this is a good question.
It's a good
Hmm.
question.
consult the archives.
No, they still retain their full strength and power capacity on the Bikui. So
it's
that is-
literally-
No, yeah, on
Ant-Man.
the Pukui, but what about the Mask of Growth?
I'm assuming it accelerates your strength.
Why would it though? Wouldn't it keep your strength the way it is if it's basically the opposite?
Well, possibly.
The
We'll-
user's strength will grow directly in proportion to their enlarged size, although at maximum size, they are still not as strong as a Kanohi Picari user.
Makes sense.
That's
So it
weirdly
does get
specific,
stronger.
but okay.
just not that strong.
But the Bikui keeps your actual full strength and power capacity. It's not that it increases or anything like that.
Right, but if the Mask of Growth can also increase your strength, it seems a little
Well,
That's true.
better.
Mhm.
Well, I guess you wouldn't use the Pukui for combat. You would use it
No.
for stealth, like to sneak in
Stealth-
somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm saying move the Pukui down one.
Yeah,
All right,
No.
I can do that.
I mean,
I mean,
accept it, but I
Ant-Man's
think
not
Sue's
exactly A tier in the Avengers either.
fine.
anyway.
It's fun though.
It's very fun. The Mask of Possibilities allows the user to alter the probability of a situation. Then why isn't it called the Mask of Probability?
So
hate this
vague.
one. F.
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 Like, how do you even know if it works? Like,
It doesn't work because she's dead.
Yeah, it's like it never works. It's like, oh, things are going to work out better this time. No.
What possibilities would you need to change? I think Greg used the example of oh, that boulder looks like it might fall. You can alter it so that it does fall. But that's so.
Yeah.
What if it was going to fall anyway? How do you know it works?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
How,
And
Have
you
you not
can't.
seen
You
the
can't
Matrix?
it has to be something that could happen. Like if there's no chance of it happening, you can't make it happen with the mask. So it's like.
Okay,
it's just,
so
like
in the real world, could you use that on the lottery? Well, I could win $1 million.
Well, it does
so
alter
I mean,
your
I guess
your probability.
yeah, you could alter an RNG, a random number generator, to be in your favor. I guess so. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
in Bionicle, zero useful. In our modern society, very useful.
Sure.
In
I'd love an
Bionicle,
RNG
down
in
here,
my favor.
up here if it were real life, yes. But then again, if everybody had access to one, then it would be down here again because everybody could just override.
Yeah,
each
that's
other.
true.
Anyway,
With that mask, I
What's
could finally beat
the
X.
Futurama quote where God says, "When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all."
That's basically that mask. Yep.
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 The Mask of Psychometry allows the user to learn details about the past of an object by making physical contact with it. This is the
D.
Mask of Vibe.
Yeah, I'll give it a D. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's really not.
I
Yeah.
love the
And that's
utility.
D tier. Kind of cool, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
love the
uses
idea.
for it, but
I can't say it's good, but I love the idea. It just is
Yeah, no, I think it's clever. I think there's a fun idea behind it, but it's really just not.
Right. All right.
There's so
I
many
want to
better
rapid
options.
fire the rest of these if we can, with exceptions, because I don't want to go too long. Didn't actually
No.
set a timer for this episode,
We
but
gotta fight. This is
All right.
We're in for the long
we
haul.
can fight it out at the end when we figure out the rest of the list finally. But all right, Mask of Rahi Control. This allows you to control one or more Rahi simultaneously.
See, yeah, wherever Komau is, it's one step down. Why does this exist? It's so stupid.
Well, the Komau, as far as I know, only controls one being. The Rahi control only controls multiple Rahi, but only the Rahi.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I love controller class kind of things.
This one's going to be controversial, but I'm going to go ahead and move it now. The Rao.
F tier. Everyone speaks the same language.
Except the Rao also allows you to talk to other beings.
They all speak the same language.
Like it lets you talk
the
to certain...
The Kikanalu don't speak Matoran.
Okay, look. If you see hexagon letters, you can see circle letters with the mask. Got it?
Fine.
And it's not that there aren't other languages, but there is a universal language. So yeah, no, FD.
Yeah. Yep.
Fair enough. All right.
You could use Rocky control better.
Mask of Rebounding allows its user to cause non-exploding or non-fragmenting projectiles come back to them after the object has been thrown and hit a target.
So like a really, really crappy how?
That confuses me.
Nah.
Yeah.
How is that different to the crest? Or like someone has to shoot you.
I should also point out this is another expanded multiverse mask. We're moving on.
This is like the Neo mask, right? Where a bunch of bullets are coming at you and you're just like, nah.
Well, it says after it hits, so you can't even stop it from hitting something. It's just like, if you're going to shoot me, cool, but I want it to shoot you back.
No. I have to read that a little more carefully. It allows the user to cause all of these projectiles come back to them after the object has been thrown at and hits a target. So no, what it is it's basically a mask of boomerang. It turns anything into a boomerang.
How often do you want things to be boomerang besides a boomerang?
So,
I mean, you could throw Kanoka multiple times at that point.
It's a mask of I am rubber and you are glue.
Yeah.
I feel like this was just used to cheat in Coley matches.
Mask of Road. This is the Mask of Truth that allows the user to see through all types of deception and disguises.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it has more applicability than I would have thought.
I'm moving the Elda down to forklift, and I'm moving the Road up.
I don't blame you, but having a lasso of truth is good.
It is true.
Well, because it can see through an eye. It can see through a Huna. It can see through a Volatak. It can, like, if someone's lying to you, you can like see past that. I think C tier is not unreasonable.
C or B, honestly.
You know what? I'll put it to B.
Yeah, because it would beat any of the illusion masks. You couldn't mind control someone with.
But I'm moving the Elda down for that purpose alone because this is still a much better mask in all regard.
Yeah, get the mustache out of here.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Ruru. This is the mask that allows a user to cast a beam of light that allows them to and those nearby to see. It also allows you to just, see in the dark, basically.
Okay, I joked about the Evoki being a flashlight, and this is literally just a flashlight. D, F, I don't care.
Okay,
don't
here's an argument.
Already see better in the dark?
Yeah.
But here's an argument for it getting to have D tier. Because the Great version also has X-ray vision. And the Ikaku has just X-ray vision. So
shoot, D tier. Yeah, leave it there.
Move that boy to F and put him with the other great masks. Let them know what they've done.
Shame.
You know what you've done. Oh, you know what? Does that mean the Rua needs to go down too because all three of its masks are in the F tier?
Yeah. I put it D.
It can't be C.
Give it D.
All right.
Yeah, give it a D.
I mean, we did the same with the Aki.
No, Aki's still fun.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the Sanok. This is the Mask of Accuracy. Allows the user to turn virtually any inanimate object into a projectile weapon and hit almost any target they aim for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely put it up there.
Well, plus, depending on what your weapon is, like that could be very overpowered. Like if Rudaka could wear Kanohi and she were wearing that, undefeatable. Mutate
Absolutely.
Everyone into slugs. You win Bionicle.
Oh yeah, just suddenly everybody. Yeah, I can see that. Like you have to use in conjecture with other things, so that's not bad as long as you know what you're doing.
You have to have something to throw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
All
if
right.
you're a Tella, you can just make something.
I'm going to defend this one. This is my personal baby. This is the Mask of Scavenging.
All right, defend your child.
It allows the user to drain the residual life energy from the bodies of any nearby beings that have just died.
No.
That's
Oh,
morbid.
F tier.
F tier, absolutely.
They
Aside
get
from being
teleported to
ripped
the
off.
red star. Is there
I'm-
something lower than F?
Please, the red star's already overpopulated. Stop sending people there.
Spirit. You've already hurt Swert's feelings enough. That's the perfect.
Y'all coming out of them with the reusable straw, just like sticking in, just like sucking out the life force.
Reusable.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Mask of Sensory Aptitude. It allows the user to enhance all 5 of their senses to a high degree.
Can you choose which sense you enhance?
Yes.
Good.
So
Yeah,
this
it would
is
suck
kind of
otherwise.
like the calyx, but just lamer.
Well,
Yeah.
this are senses and not so much physicalities.
Okay,
These
well
fine.
here's a question. It says all 5 senses. Anyone who's taken biology will know that there are more than 5 senses. So, like, it could increase your balance theoretically.
Well, no, that's what the calyx is for. That'll increase your balance. This
Right,
is just
well,
the 5 senses.
Could this? Oh, just the 5.
Yeah, just the 5 senses, which is
Calyx
weird.
is for the other senses.
Taste in the Matoran universe.
Clearly not.
Clear.
Yes, because
Look,
Nakama.
This is another EM mask. That's all I'm going to say.
I think that
Nukama-
one's all right. Like enhancing physical or natural abilities is generally something I think is cool out of a mask. I've said that a couple times, and I'm pretty
Yeah, I mean,
like
it's
basic.
slightly better than an Akaku, so fine, whatever.
But it's still like you can see better, you can hear better, you can taste better.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think in Maze of Shadows, Nokama tastes the Karzani root and says it's bitter. That might be a false memory, but I think taste exists. Taste
She
is
just
canon.
bites the evil root and just like, this tastes evil.
You know, I
about
know they
smell?
eat, right? Like they absorb energy through their hands, but they can also just straight up eat.
Yeah.
So,
Smell.
maybe.
All right. So we're moving on. Now we have the
Could smell.
Shellac. Anybody have any more comments before I move on?
I don't even remember this one.
The Shellac is the
Silence.
Mask of Silence. It allows the user to simultaneously disable target's ability to speak and hear for as long as the user concentrates. It's an immoral mask.
Can they aim it at themselves?
No.
So they can't make themselves be quiet.
I think C is not.
It is honestly useful to be able to disorient someone at that level.
I think
Oh.
D though. Like all you're doing is you're stopping people from screaming for help.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
this isn't the world where like things have to be invoked by saying something, so it's
That's
not
true.
like it's not like
True.
spell silencing.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I think this
Good
is
point.
D.
Yeah, I'd give it a
Eh,
D.
Which one?
D.
The Shellac?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Worse
I had to
Makuta
step,
mask,
away
apparently.
for a second, by the way.
And then with that, we got to move the Motrek up because if you could make multiple copies of yourself or silence someone, yeah.
Yeah. Motrek
Yeah.
can get it.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Sure.
All right, next we have the Suletu.
I love the look of this one. I'm going to say that. I want to give it points just for that.
It allows the user to read the thoughts of other beings and project the user's own thoughts into others' minds.
This is definitely a better version of the Cow. Not the Cow. What was
Komau?
Oh no, it was mask Komau. That's.
So you're saying A tier?
No.
I'm just saying it's better than the other one.
I'm willing to move the Mahiki or the Komau down if that's the case.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm cool with that. Yeah, because like ultimately it just has less problems. It's like you can read someone's thoughts and react on them, almost make them think that what you're feeding them is their own idea if you were to use it smartly enough. I don't
Right.
remember if Kongu actually did it that well. I remember him mostly just being a grumpy edgelord, but
Yeah,
I like
well, we see other characters use telepathy very effectively. Like Makuta is like using Inception on people, and then Matanui is Inceptioning Makuta to Inception other people. It's something. I'm just more surprised that it took 5 years of Bionicle for there to be a mask of telepathy.
This is true.
Yeah.
All right.
it's good with power.
Next, we have the Trina, the Mask of Reanimation. It allows the user to give artificial life to control dead bodies for as long as they maintain concentration. This is, of course, an immoral mask, but it was also a Motoro's mask.
They always just gave him the creepy ones.
I'm more than happy with putting it up here because you could control an undead army of sharks.
That's true. He did that. That was pretty cool.
What is the likelihood that you are going to encounter an undead army of sharks in your daily life?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying you're going to, but I'm saying he did, and that's the best example of its power.
You
He did
can't
have
put
the
that above
benefit.
Rahi control, though, because there are just inherently more alive bionicle creatures than there are dead ones.
Okay,
if
but
you use-
here's
hold-
my counter
hold up.
argument. Any of them that are dead can now join your army.
I'm gonna stop
Okay.
y'all right here. What if we used it on the Red Star?
Ooh, wait,
Ooh.
are they dead?
Ooh.
They're not
Not
technically
anymore.
dead. They've been.
I'm
I
willing to
wanna
move
play
down.
Bionicle.
I'm willing to move down to B, but
B
not
is
very
fine.
further.
I mean, it's useful.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next is the Mask of Undeath. This is the last of the Expanded Multiverse masks. This is the mask that siphons off a fraction of the user's life energy from their body while they're alive, which then infuses the body with after death. The body is then animated by the life force and attempts to fulfill the last objective the user had while living.
Sir, I think you're using the Mask of Incomprehension right now, because what?
That
I'm
has
not
like
saying
so
it's-
many extra things to it that's like complicated. Like you can like take life force from something, but then you can't you have to follow a set path because you did that, and also it
Yeah,
has
but like
square
you can't
eyes.
take too much life force from someone because they're gonna notice.
No, it takes it from themselves. You're essentially pulling in your own life energy into it.
Well, given
make
that,
it
And
like
the longer
balls
you
out of
use
it.
the mask for, the longer it stores up and allows it to be used. So, like, I don't have an exact figure, but my estimation is it takes maybe, I don't know, 1% of your life force every 10 days or whatever. And then that
You
1%
just made that up.
goes in. Yes.
You can
yes,
just
I
take
did.
it off.
You're
Forklift.
making all
It's
that
just,
up.
it's so like hard to use effectively.
It really is. The worst part about it was you also had to be alive and and switch to it before you die, which, again, there's good usage for it in battle, but
Imagine being the one who wears this for their entire life. Like one day this is going to
Yeah,
be
you're-
useful,
You're waiting for the day that you die.
and they're just like, whatever, square eyes.
And then it's like, hang on, I need to get my mask cleaned. I'll just wear this, I don't know, this akaku, and I'll be fine in battle.
This is the
Then you
mask of
die
life
on the
insurance.
one day you're not wearing the mask. Classic.
Yep. How could
All
anyone die on mask cleaning day?
the last of the EM masks, we're getting it out of the way. Next up, we have the last of the legendary masks. This is the Vahi.
Also broken.
Well, what
Oh,
are
but
the
it-
extents of its power? Because
It's
we
only broken
discounted
in that
Mask
if
of
you-
Creation.
The mask
as being
itself
S tier.
allows
itself
the
is-
user to filter this sheer power to speed up or slow down time around a target.
Right, that's all it does.
Mask, however, cannot be used for time travel.
I think we got to move it back a little bit,
Yeah.
just because
Hey.
its powers are limited. But also, there was another mask before we were talking about like it makes things worse by existing. Like if it didn't exist, things would be easier.
Yes.
Maybe I was thinking
If-
mask of creation.
That's for creation.
If the Mask
Oh,
of Creation
yeah,
were
screw
to be destroyed, then all of creation would stop existing, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
and the Vahi would also mess up like all of time if it were
Yeah.
destroyed. Like it's a liability for existing. Gosh dang it, Vakama.
And
Yeah,
the-
that's only
and the
time
Ignika-
inside the Matoran universe as well.
if
so-
somebody destroyed the Ignika, then all life would be destroyed. So that's beside the point.
Oh
Plus, it
yeah,
has
but
to
that was
go
just got a
through
lot
the
of pros to it anyway.
All right, now we are starting to get to the last two, and these are all Mari masks. Which, by the way, we have officially gone through every single Toa team. I want to definitely discuss that as far as the weakest versus the strongest once we get this done. Here is the Vol attack. Camouflages and deadens sound around the user, making them harder to see and hear. So it's not the same as a concealment, which is full invisibility. This is just camouflage.
The cooler Huna.
But it also eliminates all of your sound around you.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. I think that actually makes it pretty cool. I'll give it.
I think they're
Really?
comparable. Because
You think it should be the same?
yeah, because like it's complete invisibility versus active camouflage. One you make noise, one you don't. Like there's pros and cons, but essentially they
They
accomplish
fill
the
the
same.
same purpose.
There is an also note. Obviously, you still project a shadow with both.
Yeah, I'm okay with
again,
him being on par.
At night when you're running around and it dampens all of your sound, and it literally takes a dark hunter who is used to hearing silence and just like having something wander over her head ready to kill her at any moment.
Yeah, I guess with that, like it doesn't necessarily fit into the background noise. It is a noticeable silence.
Right.
I think C is fine.
Yeah.
Finally, we have the Zath, which is the mask that allows you to summon one or more random Rahi or creatures to your location for help.
Random.
Now, paired
Oh.
with a mask of Rahi control, this is an amazing mask.
Oh, but you
Yeah,
can't do
but-
it based on that.
Yeah, exactly.
But on its own, it's
No, I gotta
Yeah.
go to 14.
Are you
I'm doing
sure?
D.
I think
Like
You
it's
can't
so.
even control it. You don't know what these Rahi are gonna do. Like what? Like if you summoned a lizard, like what is the lizard gonna do except run away because it's a lizard?
Just shows
Or-
up, licks his eyeballs, and runs away. No.
Or imagine if you wanted to get something that you could ride around on, and you're thinking you get either a Kickanala or a Usul, and then you come around and you just get, I don't know, a Fico.
Yeah, you can't get anything out of it. It's just random, which I guess under the sea where everything is terrifying, that might have been more useful. But like if you just use it on Motunui, it's like, oh, I got a Motunui cow or whatever they're called, the moo cow. Yeah, it's like great.
Oh,
That-
yeah.
that's
But
doing
I mean,
Cap.
I guess my point is like, what is a random animal going to do except then be scared of why it's there and run away? What are you going to do with a wild animal?
Yeah.
It's almost just kind of like a diversion thing because I could just summon 50 whatevers between you and me and hope that it's there's enough big things in there to get away.
I
It's
guess
a mask of
summon
drop
cow.
bears.
Knowing our luck, we'll summon 50 murder hornets.
They're murder hornets. Oh wait, Nui Ra. Yeah, that would mess things
Yeah,
up.
this is basically the mask of Aquaman minus the
actual
mind control. So it's pretty bad. And Aquaman as a superhero is already pretty awful. I think D is overly generous.
Disagree with that. They've fixed him over the years. But
Can we knock
but
it
they
down
had
one
to
more
make it
peg because of its disruption of the environment?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
There you go. There you go.
All right. We are-
I just care
At the
about my
last-
animals.
we are at the last of the list. So that means now we get to decide what else are we changing? What are we looking at?
Look at the
Pause
F
it
tier,
at the
man.
root. I think the Ruru and the Akaku need to be switched because the Ruru is no more than a glorified flashlight. The Akaku would allow you to the Ruru is pointless if you're in daylight. It's pointless if there is an obstruction. Like
That's fair.
But
being
the
able to
Akaku
have
doesn't
X-ray
allow you to
vision
see
means
in
that you get around all of those obstructions, so you wouldn't be able to see things.
Yeah, the Ruru has limited X-ray vision built into it, though.
Limited. Where does the
No.
Akaku- I saw that. I saw that.
We're back.
We will
I was
move it to F.
nobody
Don't
would
cast us.
We'll get through it.
Can I at least argue for it to be moved up to B?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Make your case.
Make your
Make your
case.
case.
You'll be
Sure.
wrong.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just moving it to B.
Okay. Fine.
I
That's pretty
personally believe it is one of the most iconic masks, and even if it doesn't do a whole lot power-wise, it's still worth going up a little bit.
Oh, it's a good mask. We're giving you a hard time.
But is
No,
it better than the Krakan?
No, the Krakan is
Yes.
way better. Shadows are way more useful as a power than light.
Oh, I can eke that up.
I'm
too.
willing
I
to
have no
move
problem with
both.
that.
I'm willing to move both.
Hey, look, if the above average category is turning out pretty good, then I'm happy because we put a lot of things in F. Let's be real here.
We did.
Okay,
I'm willing to move.
These-
Chols like,
so
gotta get that GPA up.
As an argument for the Evoki and the Krakan, do these count as mask powers? Because the Krakan is made of protosteel, so it's like very defensive, and the Evoki will turn you into a Toa. Does that?
That's true.
I mean,
But only one specific Toa and not in every universe. So
That's fate, baby.
yeah, no, sorry, can't give it to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna also make another case. I kind of think the Vahi might need to go down.
Yeah.
I'll buy
Yeah.
it.
It only got used twice in the story, and both times it failed.
Well, so and that's the thing, like, the Vahi can't be used by just every Joe Schmo, but the Ignika also cannot be used by every Joe Schmo, but can make its own body, so not a
They
problem.
can use it once.
I'm also going to make the other case just to clean up this list a little better. I'm moving the road down to C.
That's fine.
Okay, so if a Kakama user is fighting a Vahi user, what?
You're thinking the Kakama user would just move at normal speed?
Yeah.
I think
Like,
the
could
slowing
be slowed down.
time-
Here's the thing. Can the Kakama allow the user to also think as
right.
fast?
It
Like
seems that yes.
You have to understand the reason why there's so much going for a speedster in the comics, for example. The Flash is able to think so fast, like actually faster.
Not just think, but like perceive. He's able to see everything in slow motion.
Well, and he can process this all at the same speeds. So he's sitting there formulating a whole plan, and when he calls flash time, bam, I could have a whole thing done in less than a second.
Yeah, but can Bahatsu do that?
Yeah, we
And
never
that's
see
the
that. So I think
Kakama
Vahi should be
capable
above
of running,
Kakama.
but is he capable of thinking that fast?
I don't know. It's never been stated. I don't think
So I
it's in
guess
there.
maybe the Vahi should go back up.
Yeah, Vahi goes up, Kakama goes down.
I'm okay with Vahi at A. It is powerful. It doesn't do much, but what it does is powerful.
Something is like happens to have a weakness that is another mask doesn't mean that mask doesn't have that overall utility. I think so. I'm okay with them being on the same tier.
Okay.
There's very
Finally-
little like mask versus
Finally,
mask
I'm going to go
powers.
ahead and do one more thing. So I want to clean up this row a little bit better. So is there
No,
anything
you don't
we
have
can
to do it just for the sake of cleaning it? It's fine.
I'm just curious.
Is the
Alternatively,
mask of sorry, is the mask of charisma really as bad as we gave it? Like it's. I mean, I know it's awful and immoral, but you could use it to an effect. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'd be
Well,
fine
I
with
guess-
you.
Yeah, I'm okay with the mask charisma going up, but like it's obviously not as good as the Komau or the Soletu.
Oh, I still think it's weak, but it's not useless. It's just kind of makes you like a crappy person.
yeah, I'll move to D. And finally, the last one that I'd be willing to move up, personally, I really don't want to move any more up.
You don't
Just
have
because
to.
I'm feeling like this is the right list.
Okay,
we
what
can
if
we can all
move-
agree that there were some terrible masks.
Move
Yeah.
Kowalski up and then move Miru up.
I'm okay with that.
Because I'd rather float than do anything in F tier.
Yeah,
Fair.
it's pretty
I
fun.
don't know. I'd rather breathe underwater than float personally, but
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this. All right, so do we want to reorganize them, or are we good? Is this an okay list?
Let's go tier by tier, starting from the
Like-
bottom, working our way up.
So what do we want to put at the front of the list?
It's like the worst of the
Uh,
best.
oh,
of the
oh,
we're
no,
worst.
this is
doing,
the best
we're
of
doing
the
the worst of the worst here.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go ahead and move the Zath up to the best of the worst.
Okay.
Put the worst down here.
Undeath is definitely the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll take forever to sort all of that. I think we can just agree that some of them are slightly
Oh, I'm
better
just
than
doing
others.
the forklift. I'm just doing the forklift and I'm doing the S. The rest are
Yeah.
all whatever they are.
Zap can do something. It's just not very reliable at all.
Yeah, everything at the bottom here is very bad.
Yeah. All right. You know what? We'll
Oh,
just leave it.
time out. This is so bad. Look at 4 of these masks. 4 of the masks belong to Water Toa. That's So-
Oh.
Aw.
There's
Actually,
There's
no.
a
That's
second.
possibilities. That's lightning.
oh, 3 of these masks belong
You're
to
just
Water
assuming
Toa.
because she's blue, Spirit.
no, but
I'm
there's the mask
sorry.
of clairvoyance, which
They
is,
all look the same.
Oh my
4.
gosh.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that is, yeah.
Yeah.
I stand by
You
my
were right
statement.
all along.
Hooray!
Maybe they shouldn't have given us these garbage masks.
But don't worry, it balances out because we gave Holly the best up here. You know what? Can I sneak her up here?
No.
No. It's still
But
not,
it's
it's
so
not as
broken.
much broken as the rest of them.
All
Because
right.
there are limits to it, but it is very good.
I'm going to move this to the back of the S tier.
I would
Yeah.
actually call that A tier, honestly. Like, yes, it's better than having just a Picari, but
Mm.
how
S
much
tier's-
more?
S tier's pretty empty though.
S tier is pretty
I'm
empty.
okay with
It
that.
should
Yeah.
be. It should be. Okay.
But yeah, basically, if you're wearing the Aki and
That's
using
where
all
we're
3 powers at once, you can't die.
Yeah, you're unstoppable.
I think
Yeah.
that's the order that we should have for the S tier. What does everybody think?
I would put
Sure.
Olmec near the top. That makes sense to me. And mutation, like, messed up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Olmec, Mutation, Ignika, Aki. I
Like
can't
this
think
list.
of better. This is a really nice list. So that's ours. Feel free. I mean, as I said, I've got a template. I'm more than happy to post a link. I'm going to share it. What is your list? You know, maybe we're wrong. We're not. But
We are definitely.
And with that, I think we're good. So, any other final thoughts? Now, there is another thing we're going to be doing on the next episode. I think we're going to talk about some of these mass powers now that we've had a chance to look at them. I kind of want to pick out 2 from each of these places and just talk about them.
Okay.
Just we're going to pick out a couple. Not right now. We'll do that after recording.
So I thought after this we were going to do a Krana tier list. Ooh.
Boy.
A
Well,
Krana
Krana.
Krana of leadership.
I would end up putting the Krana and the Krana Call together on the list. That would be the only way to get away with that.
Let's not.
There's actually less mass than you think. No, the Krana is going to be worse.
I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about how many ideas there were in that. There were just like 2 colors slapped into a Flash player thing.
Actually, the Flash player thing was made by Spirit.
No. Like the original website one.
Oh, the
you
original.
made that. That's right. Oh, right. You're right. Timeline's getting messed up. Oh, my brain.
It happens. All right. Anyway,
Send
that
us
has
out.
been our list. Feel free to tell us why we're wrong on our social media. Here are the links.
Yes, engage.
Please. And we also launched a Patreon. I should be mentioning that more. Help us support the website that we all love and hold dear. We're trying to keep it ad-free as possible. So by signing up, if you're able to do
Care
that,
about loving and holding it dear. Do you use it? Yeah, support us.
and of course, you would also get access to all of our episodes early. You also get access to our uncensored audio podcast. So if you wanted to hear anybody drop any sort of curse words, there you go.
Ooh, I can use adult language like briefcase and depression.
Mortgages. Third quarter projection analysis.
Don't
Taxes.
forget forklift.
Forklift.
Ah,
Can we just censor that through the whole episode? They won't know what it is until the end.
Oh, I'm going to blur that, sure.
Oh.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Anyway,
No.
thanks for watching. Thanks
We're
for
gonna lose our
listening.
log.
Oh, yeah, probably. This has been Swert, and I was joined by...
This has been Chols. He's broken.
Dorek.
Kayru.
and Spirit.
All right. And that's all I have to say.